Beneath the shimmering neon and the gold-plated stars of the Hollywood Walk of Fame lies a history written in shadows, far removed from the polished perfection shown on the silver screen. We remember the icons of the Golden Age as the ultimate personifications of charm and masculinity, men with hypnotic gazes and voices like velvet who made the world swoon. But behind the closed doors of luxury hotels and private estates, a much darker currency was being traded. For many of these legendary leading men, the price of admission to the A-list wasn't just talent, it was their own bodies. From secret hotel room encounters to midnight services disguised as rehearsals, many of the industry's biggest titans had to navigate a gauntlet of humiliation just to keep their careers from collapsing. Take Marlon Brando, a man whose raw intensity redefined acting, but who openly admitted that his path to power was paved with compromise. In the 1940s, while struggling on New York stages, Brando was essentially bought by director George Cukor for $300 a week in exchange for private late-night sessions at a Beverly Hills apartment. It was this very connection that led to his breakout role in A Streetcar Named Desire. Brando was blunt about his reality, later stating he would sleep with anyone, male or female, as long as they held the keys to the spotlight. He even kept a personal diary listing over a dozen influential men, including studio tycoon Jack Warner, who helped him navigate the industry through a mix of financial support and sexual favors. While Brando used the system to his advantage, others were consumed by it. James Dean arrived in Los Angeles in 1951 as a penniless outsider with nothing but a haunting face and a vulnerability that powerful scouts were quick to exploit. At the Chateau Marmont, he became number 6, a quiet boy who didn't fight back during private parties for the elite. His ascent was fueled by on-demand visits to investors and sponsorships from figures like Rogers Brackett. Friends recalled hearing Dean crying in bathrooms in the middle of the night, yet by morning he would be on set, perfectly composed. He was eventually trapped by a secret recording made in a penthouse, a tape used as leverage to ensure he remained an obedient asset for his faceless handlers. By the time he died in that famous car crash, the rebel without a cause had already lost ownership of his own life. Rock Hudson's story follows a similar trajectory. Marketed as the ultimate gentleman, a leaked studio memo revealed he was viewed internally as a companion who was always ready to accompany clients at the nod of his manager, Henry Wilson. Hudson was used to secure millions in underground investments for the studios at exclusive parties. He was a man who walked into bedrooms without a word to protect his status, leaving behind a haunting note after his death that simply read, "I was never allowed to say no." This cycle of exploitation spared no one, not even the king of Hollywood, Clark Gable. Long before he was Rhett Butler, a young, jobless Gable was taken in by playwright William H. Wright. Under the guise of a stage apprenticeship, Gable provided total obedience and served Wright's guests in exchange for food and shelter. Even at the height of his fame, Gable lived in fear that his past would surface, allegedly using his influence to remove George Cukor from Gone with the Wind to keep their shared secrets buried. The stories continue like a roll call of tragedy. Cary Grant, the dream husband of millions, lived a double life for decades, reportedly involved in behind-the-scenes exchanges at his Malibu mansion to secure roles like the lead in Bringing Up Baby. Tony Curtis admitted his face was a tool he used to satisfy casting directors, once spending a week in an executive's apartment just to get his foot in the door. Even the legendary Gene Kelly was subjected to covert sexual auditions disguised as dance training, where flexibility was judged both on and off the stage. For some, the pressure led to a complete fracture of the soul. Anthony Perkins, forever remembered as Norman Bates, described himself not as a person, but as a deal that had been traded. He allegedly had a contract rumored to include a secret clause requiring him to remain intimately available throughout production.
Monty Clift, whose eyes always carried a profound sadness, reportedly confided that a part of him died the day he traded intimacy for a role. The industry also created clean-cut idols like Tab Hubber and Richard Chamberlain, men forced into fake romances with starlets to mask their true identities while they were pressured into midnight auditions with network executives. Others, like Troy Donahue and Van Johnson, spoke of midnight casting parties and trading their bodies just to avoid sleeping on park benches. Perhaps the most chilling example is Sal Mineo, who was invited to a producer's home at 16 and told he'd get a part if he was soft enough. Years later, just as he was preparing to expose the names, photos, and tapes of Hollywood's hidden horrors, he was mysteriously murdered. His briefcase, rumored to contain the evidence, vanished forever.
At the center of this web was Scotty Bowers, the secret pimp who operated out of a gas station on Hollywood Boulevard. For 3 decades, he acted as the middleman, arranging thousands of encounters for stars who needed rent, roles, or simply to survive in a system that viewed them as property. The gods of the Golden Age were men who had everything the world desired, yet they owned almost nothing of themselves. They traded their dignity for a chance to stand in the light, leaving us to wonder if the industry has truly changed or if it has simply become more sophisticated in how it hides its scars. What do you think about the high price these icons paid for their fame? Is the pursuit of the spotlight ever worth the loss of one's soul? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into Hollywood's hidden history compelling, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more untold stories from the archives. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Would you like me to look into the hidden lives of Hollywood's leading ladies next?